Her breathing was palpable, a gentle whisper in the air. With gentle hesitation, she inched closer, her heart pounding with anticipation. Our lips intertwined in a gentle hug. Welcome to Bad Boys channel, where we reveal true adultery stories with unexpected developments. If you find the video interesting, consider subscribing and liking it. Your support really aids the growth of our channel. Now let's embark on the journey into the story. My lovely neighbor visited me the day after her husband's funeral. Let me tell you greetings. The name's John Hughes, a 32-year-old resident of a serene neighborhood nestled just outside the vibrant city of Denver, Colorado. You see, I'm just your everyday fellow, living life like many others. In my professional journey, I navigate the intricate world of corporate finance as an accountant. I prefer the quiet moments, not seeking the spotlight or the thrill of the crowd. Most evenings find me at home, enjoying a simple dinner, perhaps catching a game or losing myself in a good book before settling in for the night. Just a simple tale, nothing too thrilling. For the past 5 years, I've called the same cozy little house my home. My neighbors and I share a friendly nod and a warm smile, yet our paths rarely cross beyond that simple exchange. Once I found solace in the calm and the familiar, but that was before a few days ago. In the house right next door resides Olivia Smith. At 36, she possesses a captivating beauty, her calm green eyes reflecting a serene strength that draws you in. She found herself wed to Mark, a man in his late 40s, seasoned by life's experiences. Over the years, we had shared courteous greetings, yet I had never truly come to know them. They remained in their own world. Mark was the sort of fellow who always appeared to be racing towards some other destination. Eliza possessed a serene aura that lingered in the air, a gentle reminder of her essence, even after just a brief exchange of words. Just last week, the world lost Mark, a sudden and fierce battle within the heart. Unexpected. Words spread like wildfire throughout the neighborhood in just a matter of hours. I chose not to attend the funeral. I sensed it wasn't my role to step in. Yet the very next day, as fate would have it, Eliza came knocking at my door, just after they had laid him to rest. The clock struck 4 in the afternoon, casting a warm glow over the scene. As I settled into my home office, the familiar comfort of my hoodie and sweatpants wrapped around me like a cozy blanket, setting the stage for a day of productivity. As I turned the handle and swung the door wide, there she stood, a figure cloaked in a flowing black coat, poised on my porch. With her hair neatly pulled back, her eyes spoke of fatigue and weariness, and in her hands, she cradled a small cup, perhaps filled with tea or coffee. "Greetings, James," she murmured gently. "Would you be so kind as to let me step inside for just a moment?" Without a doubt, I welcomed her inside. I extended an invitation for her to take a seat on the couch, while I busied myself with brewing a warm cup of tea. I refrained from asking questions. I sensed she would share her thoughts when the moment felt right for her. She nestled her hands in her lap, her gaze fixed on the wisps of steam dancing upward from the cup. At last, breaking the stillness that had enveloped them, she found her voice. She leaned in closer and murmured, "It's awfully quiet next door." In that moment, I believed I had the strength to face it all, yet the weight of solitude feels too heavy to bear at this time. I gave a knowing nod. I reassured her that there was no need for an explanation. We lingered in that moment, cups of tea in hand, allowing the quiet to envelop us like a warm embrace. It was a moment filled with ease. It truly embraced me with a sense of ease. Eventually, she began to share her thoughts. "Let me share a tale about Mark. Once upon a time, in a world where imperfections danced gracefully among the shadows, there existed a tale of how things weren't quite perfect. In recent years, a subtle chasm had formed between them, a quiet drift that went unnoticed until it was too late. There were moments when she sensed that their bond resembled more of a shared living arrangement than a marriage. She held back her tears. It was as if she was allowing the truth to seep out gradually, much like water trickling through a tiny fissure. She gazed at me and remarked, "I understand it may seem terrible, but a part of me feels as though I've mourned this already. It felt as though I had lost him in spirit long before he was gone from my life entirely. Words eluded me, and so I remained mostly silent, simply gave a nod, heard the tale unfold. That was all she appeared to require. As she prepared to depart, her gaze swept across my living room, and a gentle smile graced her lips. The warmth enveloped. That was all she appeared to require. As she prepared to depart, her gaze swept across my living room, and a gentle smile graced her lips. The warmth envelops us, she remarked, and then, just like that, she vanished into thin air. And so it was. She returned to the silence of her vacant home. Yet a shift had occurred, for the two of us. The dawn that followed Liza's inaugural visit found me adrift, unable to focus on the world around me. Amidst the flurry of emails awaiting my response, spreadsheets clamoring for my attention, and reports looming with deadlines, my mind wandered to a singular moment. There she was, perched on my couch, cradling that cup of tea as if it were the anchor in a storm, the only thing tethering her to reality. There was something captivating in her words, a sincerity so profound and unfiltered, it burrowed deep beneath my skin. Not in a negative light, it lingered in my mind. As the clock struck noon, my stomach remained untouched by any morsel of food. As I sat there, my gaze fixed on the same document for what felt like an eternity of 15 minutes, a sudden knock at the door broke the silence. I opened it, and there she appeared once more. This time no long coat to be seen, without any adornments. She wore nothing but jeans, sneakers, and a gray hoodie that draped off her shoulders, as if it had been her companion for days on end. In her hands, she cradled 2 brown paper bags from Charlie's Deli, the beloved sandwich spot just a few blocks down the road. "I had a feeling you might have skipped a meal," she remarked, a playful smile dancing on her lips. "Nearly found myself in that situation as well. I thought it might be nice to bring some lunch if that suits you." Without a moment's hesitation, she crossed the threshold as if it were a familiar path she had walked many times before, and for some reason, it seemed just as it should be. Authentic. We gathered on the back patio, the evening air wrapping around us like a warm embrace. The sky loomed above, draped in a blanket of gray, while the air danced with a cool, refreshing breeze. As she passed me the turkey and Swiss, we settled into a comfortable silence, each of us gently peeling back the wrappers of our sandwiches. In the beginning, silence enveloped us, and I chose not to break it. She nibbled delicately, her gaze locked onto the row of trees beyond the fence, as if her thoughts had wandered to a distant place. At long last, she shattered the stillness that hung in the air. "How peculiar," she remarked, her voice barely above a whisper. "I imagined the weight of despair would be heavier, you see. I imagined I would rise from slumber, tears streaming down my face, my voice echoing with a desperate cry. Yet here I stand, feeling hollow as if I'm merely a spectator in a tale that isn't my own." As I cast my gaze in her direction, she remained oblivious, not returning my glance. Her gaze lingered on the trees, as if they held secrets waiting to be uncovered. "For what feels like an eternity, I've carried this knot in my chest, James. Long before Mark took his final breath. It feels as though the sorrow began long ago, at that moment when our connection shifted, when we ceased to truly notice one another." I allowed her to share her thoughts. I remained silent. I simply found my place and absorbed every word that filled the air. With a soft sigh, she pressed on with her tale. "Once upon a time, we shared a bond that felt unbreakable. Once my heart was full of love for him. But as time went on, his work began to consume him. He traveled far and wide, returned home late, and our conversations dwindled to whispers. There came a time when I found myself dining solo, even with him just a room away. We lay side by side in the same bed, yet it felt as though an ocean separated us. At last she faced me, her gaze a touch misty yet unwavering. Have you ever experienced that sensation of gradually fading away within the walls that once felt like your sanctuary?" I nodded, not from personal experience, but from a deep understanding of the solitude she painted with her words. It seems that each person has their unique approach to it. In that moment, time seemed to hold its breath, and then she let out a gentle, almost shy chuckle. I apologize for unloading all of that on you. I found myself at a loss, unsure of whom to confide in. No need for apologies, I said. At times, all one truly seeks is the comforting presence of another, a companion to share the silence with. In that moment, her gaze met mine, filled with gratitude and perhaps a hint of astonishment. For the next hour, we wove our words together, sharing tales and thoughts that danced in the air between us. It's no longer a tale of Mark, nor a narrative of sorrow. We shared whispers of the small moments, films, the coffee shops we hold dear to our hearts. Once upon a time, she welcomed a cat into her home, only for it to vanish just a week later. Once I found myself in a rather amusing predicament. I shared with her the tale of when I inadvertently sent out a company-wide email, and to my horror, the subject line contained a rather unfortunate typo that read, "Pubic announcement." Her laughter rang out, vibrant and full, and in that moment, she appeared as if a spark of joy had been reignited within her. In a fleeting moment, her hand grazed against mine on the patio table. It lingered for a heartbeat, just long enough for both of us to catch a glimpse, before she drew it back softly. Her expression transformed, a faint glimmer of remorse perhaps, or perhaps a sense of bewilderment. "I should go," she declared abruptly, rising to her feet. "It may be a bit premature. I hope you don't perceive me as relying on you for emotional support." I rose as well. "You are not. I truly mean that." With a moment's pause, she lingered at the threshold. Today's solitude was not a companion I wished for. I gave a knowing nod, then simply refrained from being. "Whenever you feel like sharing your thoughts, or even if you prefer silence, know that I'm right here for you." The silence that lingered was thick with unspoken weight. It was as if we stood on the edge of an unspoken truth, both acutely aware of the currents swirling around us, yet hesitant to give voice to what was unfolding. A change in direction, a gentle embrace of warmth, a bond that took us both by surprise. With a deliberate nod, she acknowledged the moment. "Thank you, James." "Indeed." With a gentle grace, she emerged from the confines of her home, her feet gliding over the lush green grass as she made her way to her dwelling. I beheld her departure. With her arms crossed over her chest, she stood, her hair dancing in the breeze. A shift had occurred. It was an unspoken truth, a feeling that lingered in the air. We had undeniably crossed a threshold. Nothing tangible had transpired. No kiss. There was no embrace. Yet an unvoiced connection began to weave itself between us, and it lingered on, refusing to fade. Once upon a time, the day began in a serene hush. On that cloudy morning, the air felt thick and heavy, a telltale sign that rain was likely on its way, lingering just outside the door. As I settled into my kitchen chair, a lukewarm cup of coffee cradled in my hand, I found myself sifting through emails, yet none seemed to resonate with me. As I wandered through the corridors of my thoughts, Eliza's presence lingered, drawing me back time and again. It wasn't merely the occurrence of her visit yesterday that caught my attention. It was a sensation that enveloped the air when she graced this place with her presence. Her presence lingered in my mind far longer than I had anticipated. Her words lingered in my mind, and the way she gazed at me, a blend of loss and familiarity, haunted my thoughts. And then came that fleeting moment, a gentle caress of her hands upon the patio table. Yet it lingered in my mind as if it were a weighty presence. After lunch had passed, I strolled over to the window that overlooked her backyard. I wasn't looking to see if she was present. At the very least, that's the tale I spun for myself. But there she stood, poised at the edge of her porch, arms encircling herself as if she were guarding a secret within. She appeared diminutive, filled with uncertainty, as if standing at the precipice of an action she questioned deeply. 10 minutes slipped by, then 15, and at last, there it was, the knock. Before I even turned the knob, I felt it in my bones. It would be her on the other side of that door. Eliza stood there, draped in a navy blue sweater that casually slipped off one shoulder, paired with sleek black leggings that hugged her form. Without the adornments of makeup or jewelry, it was simply her essence that shone through. She appeared weary, yet there was a subtle fire in her gaze, as if deep thoughts had been swirling in her mind. "May I enter your realm?" she inquired gently. Indeed, I declared, moving aside with unwavering resolve. She glided past me into the living room, reminiscent of the day before. Yet this time there was a deliberate slowness, a hint of hesitation in her step, as if she were questioning whether this was the right choice. I allowed her the time she needed. I paused for a moment, observing her as she surveyed the room, as if it held the secrets she sought. I hadn't intended to be here, she remarked after a brief pause. For the last hour, I've been wandering in circles, unsure of where to turn next. There's no need for an explanation, I said softly. Eliza glided over to the couch and settled in, curling up on one side as if seeking comfort in her own smallness for a moment. I found myself seated opposite her, allowing her the room she needed. For a moment, silence enveloped the room, broken only by the soft murmur of traffic in the distance and the rhythmic ticking of the aged wall clock. I don't know how to be alone, she said, her voice cutting through the stillness at last. Once upon a time, I transitioned from the comfort of my parents' home to sharing a life with Mark. That is the entirety of my experience. In every moment, there existed a presence. Now it's only me left in this tale. I gave a slow, deliberate nod. The transition is quite challenging. With a gentle breath, she released the air from her lungs. For quite a while, I carried the weight of solitude, even before his departure. It felt as though I was grieving the loss of what we had, even before he had truly left my side. Her words carried a weight, and it was clear she spoke them with great care. I leaned in closer, my elbows finding a perch on my knees. That kind of loneliness is a fierce beast, I said. It's a curious thing, isn't it? The presence of a body beside you, yet the heart feels a world apart. In that moment, her gaze met mine, unwavering and direct. She spoke in a hushed tone. Do you believe it's inappropriate that I don't carry any guilt for being here? That I have no remorse in expressing myself to you in this manner? In that moment, I took my time before responding. I sought to tread lightly with my expressions. No, I said. I believe there's no set time for sorrow or the bonds we share. There are moments when individuals enter our lives just when we require their presence the most. That doesn't render it incorrect. Her eyes glimmered with a gentle warmth, as if she had been suspended in time, eagerly anticipating my words. I never anticipated that someone would capture my heart at this moment, she whispered. I didn't either. As she gazed down at her hands, her fingers danced with the hem of her sleeve. Tonight I feel a strong reluctance to return to that place. It's not that I'm fleeing, but rather that I can't bear to be in that house once more. A sense of impending suffocation washes over me. It was clear she spoke from the heart. It was simply the truth, laid bare without embellishment. There stood a woman teetering on the edge of her own strength, burdened by the weight of her own journey. No need for explanations, I murmured softly. If you seek a sanctuary to find your breath, I shall prepare the guest room for you. Eliza blinked rapidly, battling the swell of tears that threatened to spill. Your words caught me by surprise. Fear not, Eliza, for you are not alone. With a gentle nod, she allowed a small smile to grace her lips for the very first time that day. As the evening unfolded, I retrieved fresh sheets from the closet, transforming the spare room into a cozy haven, while she nestled in the living room, savoring the soothing chamomile tea I had prepared for her. Our words were few and far between. The stillness wrapped around me like a warm embrace, soothing and familiar. As the night drew near, she approached me once more. In the gentle embrace of stillness, where time seems to pause, there exists a serene intimacy, free from the clamor of urgency or turmoil. Thank you, James, she murmured gently, for this tale, for refraining from probing too deeply, for reminding me of my humanity once more. In that moment, she took a step closer and wrapped her arms around me in a warm embrace. It lacked any hint of romance. It unfolded at its own pace. It was a tale of humanity. As her head nestled softly against my shoulder, I embraced her with both arms, providing a steady and soothing presence. It was a hug that lingered in the memory, a moment etched in time. As we released our hold, her soft whisper of goodnight lingered in the air. And then she glided away down the hall, vanishing into the guest room's embrace. In that stillness, I lingered, enveloped by the silence of the empty house. the lingering warmth of her touch wrapping around me like a cherished memory. And for the first time in what felt like an eternity, I came to a profound realization that something had shifted. That night, sleep eluded me, not due to any particular event. Nothing transpired, yet I found myself acutely aware, conscious of Eliza's presence in the room down the hall, conscious of the burden she bore, understanding that this was more than simply a neighbor seeking refuge on my couch. Once upon a time, there was a woman who had just laid her husband to rest, for reasons that perhaps even she couldn't grasp. She decided to seek refuge in my home for the night. The walls seemed to whisper secrets. The echoes of each sound reverberated in my ears, while my thoughts danced in a whirlwind, refusing to settle. Her embrace lingered in my mind, a warm memory that wrapped around me like a soft blanket. It lacked any sense of romance. It lacked any sense of drama. It was profoundly relatable, truthful, a hug that lingers in your memory, one that etches itself into your heart, not for the implications it carried, but for the deep sense of necessity it evoked. As the first hints of dawn began to paint the sky, I rose from my slumber. In the stillness of the house, a profound silence enveloped every corner. I crept quietly, careful not to disturb her slumber. As I brewed a pot of coffee, I found myself standing by the kitchen window, cradling the warm mug in both hands. The soft morning light gently spilled over the backyard fence, painting the scene with a golden glow. After a span of about 20 minutes, the sound of her footsteps reached my ears, gentle and tentative, as if she were uncertain about crossing a boundary. She emerged in the hallway, swathed in a soft light gray blanket from the guest room. Her hair was a delightful mess. Her expression was serene, yet weary, still enchanting, yet transformed in a new light. Rawer still, more authentic. As the dawn broke, she whispered softly, "Morning." "Greetings," I uttered with a gentle smile. Once upon a time, I brewed a cup of coffee. With a gentle nod, she entered the kitchen and accepted the mug I offered her. We lingered in silence, the air thick with unspoken words, merely savoring a sip. In that stillness, a world of unspoken tales lingered, waiting to be unveiled. It was a moment that flowed seamlessly. The atmosphere was tranquil and soothing. At last, she settled into her chair at the table, wrapping the blankets snugly around her for warmth. She gazed out the window for a while, then spoke. "I have no clue what I'm doing." There I was, seated opposite her. "Eliza, I have a feeling that this isn't quite the right thing to do. With each passing moment, you're piecing it all together." "That will do." With a gentle nod, she acknowledged the moment. Yesterday's feelings linger in my mind, weaving a tapestry of memories that beckon to be revisited. As I find myself in this moment, I take a pause to reflect, sharing tales. Inhale, exhale, a rhythm of life. A small fragment of my essence returned to me, as if the universe had conspired to restore what was lost. In that moment, her gaze found mine. In her gaze, there was a depth, a glimmer of untold tales waiting to unfold. Not a tale of love. Clarity prevails. Only depth. Mark and I, we had drifted apart, no longer the couple we once were. We shared our lives under one roof, our lives intertwined in the pages we crafted together. Yet deep down, we were like two souls adrift, sharing a moment but never truly connecting. It wasn't until I stepped away from that house that the hollowness within me truly dawned on me. I absorbed every word. I remained silent. It was clear to me that she had to voice this, to let the words escape into the air. Yesterday, I found myself drawn here, unable to endure the weight of silence any longer. And now I find myself reluctant to return. Not just yet. She lingered throughout the whole day. There was no plan laid out before us. She lingered on, unwavering in her presence. "Gather around, for I have prepared a delightful feast of scrambled eggs and toast, just for us." With a cheerful spirit, she joined me in sorting the laundry, her laughter ringing out as she discovered a lone pink sock that had mysteriously slipped into the pile of whites. There came a moment when we strolled through the neighborhood, taking in the sights and sounds around us. Just a gentle, easygoing cycle. We strolled side by side, our proximity speaking volumes, though our fingers never intertwine, Our arms brushed against each other a couple of times, yet we chose to remain silent about it. The day unfolded with a soft grace. As the sun dipped below the horizon, I prepared a humble feast for us, a delightful pasta paired with a fresh salad. In the end, we found ourselves nestled on the couch. With her legs tucked beneath her, she cradled a warm cup of tea in both hands, savoring the moment. I settled beside her, near enough to feel the warmth, yet maintaining a respectful distance. A nature documentary flickered in the background, yet our attention drifted elsewhere, lost in our own world. Then in a soft whisper, she remarked, "It's peculiar. In this place, a sense of tranquility envelops me, as if I have the freedom to simply exist. It has been ages since I last experienced that feeling." I shifted my gaze toward her. "Take your time. There's no need to hurry. This unfolds without a script." She lifted her gaze to meet mine. Her eyes wandered through mine, seeking something elusive. Perhaps a nod of approval, comprehension. "Do you believe it's inappropriate that I don't feel remorse about my presence here?" she inquired. "Absolutely not," I spoke softly. It lacked any sense of romance. It lacked any sense of drama. It was profoundly relatable, truthful, a hug that lingers in your memory, one that etches itself into your heart, not for the implications it carried, but for the deep sense of necessity it evoked. As the first hints of dawn began to paint the sky, I rose from my slumber. In the stillness of the house, a profound silence enveloped every corner. I crept quietly, careful not to disturb her slumber. As I brewed a pot of coffee, I found myself standing by the kitchen window, cradling the warm mug in both hands. The soft morning light gently spilled over the backyard fence, painting the scene with a golden glow. After a span of about 20 minutes, the sound of her footsteps reached my ears, gentle and tentative, as if she were uncertain about crossing a boundary. She emerged in the hallway, swathed in a soft light gray blanket from the guest room. Her hair was a delightful mess. Her expression was serene, yet weary, still enchanting, yet transformed in a new light. Rawer still, more authentic. As the dawn broke, she whispered softly, "Morning." "Greetings," I uttered with a gentle smile. Once upon a time, I brewed a cup of coffee. With a gentle nod, she entered the kitchen and accepted the mug I offered her. We lingered in silence, the air thick with unspoken words, merely savoring a sip. In that stillness, a world of unspoken tales lingered, waiting to be unveiled. It was a moment that flowed seamlessly. The atmosphere was tranquil and soothing. At last, she settled into her chair at the table, wrapping the blankets snugly around her for warmth. She gazed out the window for a while, then spoke. "I have no clue what I'm doing." There I was, seated opposite her. "Eliza, I have a feeling that this isn't quite the right thing to do. With each passing moment, you're piecing it all together. That will do." With a gentle nod, she acknowledged the moment. Yesterday's feelings linger in my mind, weaving a tapestry of memories that beckon to be revisited. As I find myself in this moment, I take a pause to reflect, sharing tales. Inhale, exhale, a rhythm of life. A small fragment of my essence returned to me, as if the universe had conspired to restore what was lost. In that moment, her gaze found mine. In her gaze, there was a depth, a glimmer of untold tales waiting to unfold. Not a tale of love. Clarity prevails. Only depth. Mark and I, we had drifted apart, no longer the couple we once were. We shared our lives under one roof, our lives intertwined in the pages we crafted together. Yet deep down, we were like two souls adrift, sharing a moment but never truly connecting. It wasn't until I stepped away from that house that the hollowness within me truly dawned on me. I absorbed every word. I remained silent. It was clear to me that she had to voice this, to let the words escape into the air. Yesterday, I found myself drawn here, unable to endure the weight of silence any longer. And now I find myself reluctant to return. Not just yet. She lingered throughout the whole day. There was no plan laid out before us. She lingered on, unwavering in her presence. "Gather around, for I have prepared a delightful feast of scrambled eggs and toast, just for us." With a cheerful spirit, she joined me in sorting the laundry, her laughter ringing out as she discovered a lone pink sock that had mysteriously slipped into the pile of whites. There came a moment when we strolled through the neighborhood, taking in the sights and sounds around us. Just a gentle, easygoing cycle. We strolled side by side, our proximity speaking volumes, though our fingers never intertwined. Our arms brushed against each other a couple of times, yet we chose to remain silent about it. The day unfolded with a soft grace. As the sun dipped below the horizon, I prepared a humble feast for us, a delightful pasta paired with a fresh salad. In the end, we found ourselves nestled on the couch. With her legs tucked beneath her, she cradled a warm cup of tea in both hands, savoring the moment. I settled beside her, near enough to feel the warmth, yet maintaining a respectful distance. A nature documentary flickered in the background, yet our attention drifted elsewhere, lost in our own world. Then in a soft whisper, she remarked, "It's peculiar. In this place, a sense of tranquility envelops me, as if I have the freedom to simply exist. It has been ages since I last experienced that feeling." I shifted my gaze toward her. "Take your time. There's no need to hurry. This unfolds without a script." She lifted her gaze to meet mine. Her eyes wandered through mine, seeking something elusive. Perhaps a nod of approval, comprehension. "Do you believe it's inappropriate that I don't feel remorse about my presence here?" she inquired. "Absolutely not," I spoke softly. "It seems to me that you're on the right path, following your own journey. That's not incorrect." Her head gently rested against my shoulder. I allowed her to find solace in that moment. My arm gently wrapped around her, gentle and unassuming, not implying anything, simply calm and unwavering. And then a change was in the air. She raised her gaze to meet mine. Our faces drew nearer than they had ever been before. Her gaze held on, as if weaving a tale of unspoken thoughts. Her breath was palpable, a gentle whisper in the air. With a gentle hesitance, she inched closer, her heart racing with anticipation. Our lips intertwined in a gentle embrace, gently, with great care, like a query lingering on the tip of her tongue, uncertain if it should ever be voiced. Our lips met in a gentle embrace, only a single time, all in good time. No fireworks to be seen, only a bond. Two souls embark on a quest to discover a sensation beyond the realm of pain. She drew away. "I apologize. There's no need for that," I responded, my voice soft and low. Our lips never met again. She nestled closer, her weight gently pressing against my chest, and we lingered in that moment, time stretching before us as if it were an hour. Silence envelops the space. Quiet. A shift had occurred. Yet the words lingered in the air, unspoken between us, heavy with meaning. In those moments, I was blissfully unaware of the profound bond that had quietly woven itself between us, only to be realized much later on. Once upon a time, there were two souls navigating the twists and turns of life, learning to embrace the hand they had been dealt. Yet as the days unfolded, there was a certain magic in the simplicity of our shared moments. Those morning coffees, the tranquil evenings spent side by side, each one whispering of something deeper, something more profound, something genuine. It unfolded gradually. It lacked any real flair. It unfolded slowly, like the turning of pages in a well-worn book. Following that serene evening, when Eliza visited and we exchanged that singular kiss, soft and soothing, uncertain, it lingered in the air, a question hanging between us, both uncertain if we were prepared to voice it. We took our time, allowing the moments to unfold naturally. Indeed, following that night, we retreated into our own corners, each of us requiring a moment to reflect, to unravel the events that had just unfolded. Yet it felt anything but awkward. It unfolded effortlessly. Neither of us were prepared to plunge into anything too hastily. We each had our own rhythm to follow. In the days that followed, Eliza found herself nestled within the familiar walls of her own home. She expressed that she wasn't prepared to part ways with it just yet, and in that moment clarity washed over me. She had to confront it head on, make it spotless. Weave through the echoes of the past that still whisper within the walls. Yet she graced my presence each and every day, only for a cup of coffee, Once upon a time in the realm of dialogue, there existed a space where words danced and stories unfolded, inviting all to join in the exchange of thoughts and ideas. For solace, the sorrow lingered on, a weight upon her soul. Yet an unspoken bond began to weave itself between us, a gentle understanding blossoming in the silence. A tale that unfolded without the need for grand gestures or overwhelming confessions. In the gentle embrace of morning, I would brew the coffee, and together we would settle onto my couch, sharing the warmth of the moment, gently savoring each moment, weaving together our reflections. At times, tears would escape her eyes. At times, her laughter would dance in the air, sparked by something silly I had uttered. There was that moment when I accidentally spilled coffee all over the table, and in a flurry of clumsy efforts, I tried to tidy up the mess I had created, just deepening the trouble. A smile began to grace my face more often. Her presence was like a spark, igniting a flame within me that I thought had long been extinguished, gradually and with purpose. And so she found herself transforming as well. I could see it unfolding before my eyes. Her eyes had transformed, no longer merely reflecting sorrow. They began to grasp something new. Her smile started to blossom more often, though it began as a mere whisper. Her laughter flowed like a gentle stream, unrestrained and joyful. She began to weave tales of the memories that had slipped from her grasp, moments she cherished before the world unraveled around her. I could witness her rediscovering herself piece by piece. The journey unfolded at its own pace. But the journey was far from simple. Yet every fleeting moment, every single day we shared was a chapter in our tale. It was evident that she was on the path to recovery. Not entirely. Grief unfolds in its own mysterious way. Yet she was finding her way to coexist with it. As the days unfolded, I came to understand that I was discovering the art of doing just that. On a certain Saturday, roughly a month down the line, she beckoned me to her home for an evening meal. It had been ages since I last set foot in that place, not since that very first night. A knot of nerves twisted in my stomach, a palpable tension that seemed to echo the uncertainty of the moment. Once upon a time, there stood a house. After all, this was the very beginning of it all. The location where she had endured countless losses, the very spot where her husband used to enter each evening, bringing with him the warmth of home. Yet she had invited me to come over, and this time it carried a unique essence. It seemed like a leap into the unknown. Once upon a time, I arrived with a bottle of wine in hand. In the warmth of her kitchen, she prepared a humble dinner, each ingredient chosen with care, weaving together a meal that spoke of comfort and home. Once upon a time, there was a delightful dish known as pasta, a gentle touch that wraps around you like a warm embrace. As the sun gracefully sank beneath the horizon, we gathered on our back patio to share a meal under the open sky. As the sun dipped below the horizon, a gentle chill wrapped around the evening, whispering secrets of the night to come. An evening that invites you to lean back and savor the serene quietude enveloping the world around you. Our conversation was sparse as we sat down for dinner. There was no need for that. The exchange flowed easily, as if we were old friends picking up right where we left off. In that moment, everything felt light and easy, as if the weight of the world had lifted away. Without anticipation, the gentle melody of forks softly clinking together. The soft murmur of a distant street whispers in the background, and the fleeting moments when our eyes met, sparked by a shared laugh at something amusing we had said. As the night unfurled its dark tapestry, as the sun dipped below the horizon, shadows crept across the land, and the sky transformed into a canvas of deepening hues. As the soft light from the patio lamps enveloped us, a gentle glow danced between our souls. In that moment, her gaze met mine, a gaze that held a new essence. Unlike any seen before, her eyes no longer held the weight of sadness or the unknown. It was a presence that felt unwavering, a touch of certainty. "I believe I'm prepared," she declared, shattering the stillness that enveloped them. "What awaits us on the horizon?" I inquired, my mind swirling with uncertainty about the direction this was taking. Prepared to embrace the journey ahead. For what feels like an eternity, I found myself ensnared, Daniel. And I found myself at a loss, unsure of how to escape the situation. Yet in your presence, I sense that I truly can. not solely due to your influence, you see. Yet through your guidance, I've come to understand that it's perfectly fine to embrace new beginnings. I am not bound by the shadows of my losses. Her words struck me with a force I hadn't anticipated. At the beginning, I kept my thoughts to myself. As I leaned forward, my fingers gently intertwined with hers, a moment of connection blossomed between us. It felt just as it should, authentic. No words were necessary from me. She sensed that I was in tune with her thoughts. I was aware as well. In that moment, a smile graced her lips, a genuine, heartfelt smile. And it struck me, the remarkable journey she had undertaken in such a brief span. This journey had evolved beyond merely overcoming her past. It was a tale of her discovery, a journey into the unknown, a surprise yet a delightful one. There's no need for haste, she continued, yet as I envision what lies ahead, your presence is woven into the fabric of my dreams, and that carries a significance of its own. At last, the moment arrived for me to share a smile, tinged with a hint of nervous excitement. There's no need for haste, I murmured gently. Let us savor each moment, taking our time as we journey forward. Yet my heart longs to be by your side, Eliza. It seems only fitting that we both receive that, don't you think? The silence that followed was light and fleeting. It brimmed with insight. All questions have been answered. There was an unspoken bond between us, a deep understanding that no matter what lay ahead, we would confront it side by side. From that moment forward, everything changed. Our journey didn't begin with a passionate rush into love. There was no necessity for that. We savored each moment. We cherished those serene mornings side by side and savored the lengthy evenings filled with conversation or simple activities around the home. We reveled in the beauty of togetherness. As the days unfolded, we discovered ourselves relying on one another increasingly. We took our time. Yet as time unfolded, we came to understand that we had discovered something genuine, a treasure to cherish. As the months rolled by, filled with shared dinners and serene evenings, I discovered the joy of waking up beside her each morning. It wasn't the kind of love that roared like a tempest in a tale, but rather a gentle, unwavering bond that felt authentic and enduring. It was never about the grand gestures. It was all about the little details, the moments we share, the gentle presence. Joy filled my heart. And thus she was. And that's how the tale unfolded before my very eyes. It was the perfect conclusion to the tale, the kind where we both discovered a path to progress together. We remember our history, yet we refuse to be bound by it. And just like that, it transformed into something far deeper than a tale of sorrow. Once upon a time, there was a tale of healing. Once upon a time, there was a tale of second chances.